Good morning, everyone. Today is January the 16th, and I have forgotten to adjust the stream delay settings once again. Oh well, that's okay. It's not too bad. I'm pretty sure it's only like 10 seconds or so it's not the end of the world. We'll deal with it. But I hope you're all doing well. Um, Yeah, so today is January the 16th. It is also part 27 of my journey to becoming a voice actor. Getting closer and closer to part 30. By next Monday will actually mark the 30th stream we've done, which means that we are only by next week, actually, next Monday will mark the 30th part 30, and next Wednesday will mark 2 months that we've been doing these streams, which is pretty crazy. It's almost already been 2 months that we've been doing this. Time is flying by, but we're keeping ourselves busy. That's what's important. And yeah, so we're gonna go till 12 today. We're on time. We're on schedule. Everything's great. Had a decent amount of sleep. Got out of bed. Didn't sleep in, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, let's get into it. So, plan for today. I think what I'm going to do is, because I have a bunch of videos I need to put together today still. Well, not put together. I have videos ready. I just need to separate them into their respective parts, and then I'll be good to go for that. It's more Metal Gear Rising shorts, and I'm pretty happy with how they came out. I gave what I felt like was a really good performance for the voices, so I'm really looking forward for you guys to see that. But as for the specific plan today, what I want to do is do what we were practicing yesterday, which was using ChatGPT, as you can now see, to practice. So I am going to record this time in Audacity. I didn't do it last time, but yeah, we are going to record in Audacity. I don't think I'm going to record on the phone, unless I feel like I could come up with something potentially to have as a video underneath, because this is more so practice for my own original voices rather than trying to do interpretations of existing voices. And I think actually just from yesterday alone, I've kind of realized how far I've come, because I was able to do different enough voices. So the way that my teacher or my mentor, how she taught me, or what she told me to do that I should have, is think of it like as a having a cast of characters at the ready, like a mini library almost. So, I'll give an example right now. So if somebody asks me, "Oh, like what kind of voices can you do?" And I say, "Well, I have a really good narrator voice, like if I wanted to read let's say this this old parking ticket. If I wanted to read this out. If you do not pay the said fine or engage in the appeal process within 14 days of the offense date, it will be deemed that you do not wish to dispute your offense notice. Failure to pay fines will result in the outstanding charges being billed to student accounts in the business office, students, and or submission for collection by payroll deduction through human resources staff. You know, there's that. And then I have, of course, me, my regular talking voice. So this voice here, you know, when I'm just normal speaking voice. Hey guys, how's it going? This is good for like if it's a character that's like good for side characters, good for like NPC civilians, that kind of thing. It's like, "Oh my god, what the hell is that?" You know, that kind of thing. Or, you know, something that's like, I don't know, you know? I don't know how I feel about that, you know, time bombs, portals into other realities. It just doesn't really seem like that good of an idea to me, if I'm being honest. You know, that kind of thing. And then I've got a sly character's voice where it's like, "Welcome, my dear. It is so good of you to finally join us. I was beginning to think you would never show up. Now, why don't you have a seat, and I can begin to tell you what it is I would like from you. I promise it won't be very long. I will get straight to the point. But please, let us eat first, discuss with full bellies, rather than ravenous hunger." So it's like very sly, calculated voice. It's like I would call that like my devilish voice. That's like the voice you'd hear if you were trying to make a deal with the devil, and that's the devil's voice right there. Then I've got like a deeper, serious voice. So it'd be something like, "I don't know what it is that you want. I've given you everything that you need. I've tried everything. You don't know what it's like to fight and steal and kill just to survive. I've tried to save her on many occasions. Believe me, I tried. But it is not so simple as one just going into the castle and saving her. Not so simple at all." So that voice is like, it's a deeper voice, it's serious. That you could use for the protagonist as the main character. It's "We're getting ourselves into more trouble than it's worth. I don't know if we should even be here. Well, I think it's worth a shot. You say you're paranoid about making a deal. I say, what do we really have left to lose?" You speak like a fool. What do we have to lose? We have to lose everything and gain nothing but a curse that will follow us into the next life. A curse, huh? You speak as if we're not already cursed ourselves. You think that we're free? Even if we don't accept this, how exactly are we supposed to accomplish our task, To kill the god of thunder? You think we can just waltz up to his mountain, to his shining palace, where he probably has thousands of monsters waiting for us? You think we can just waltz in? Don't get fissy with me, because you know I'm right. So that kind of thing. And then a conversation between the three of them would be something like, "You know, I didn't know where this was going to go at first, but I gotta say, I'm glad you decided to tag along. Truly. I didn't think we were going to make it out of there." You know, at first I didn't think about going along with you. But after adventuring with you for so long, I realize how dull my life was before everything else. So I must say, I'm glad I decided to tag along. This has been entertaining, to say the least. Well, I'm glad you find some entertainment out of it. Hey, who is that over there? I don't like this. Looks like someone wants our attention. Approach with caution. We don't know what it wants. Hey, you there. Tall, dark, definitely not imposing figure at all in the distance. What is it you want exactly? The figure turns around, facing both Angron and Lythander. The two of them, puzzled. The figure approaches, slowly, calculated in its every step, not breaking eye contact for one moment. My apologies. I did not mean to be imposing in any way. I simply wish to garner your attention, if you will. Our attention. Consider it extremely limited. What is it that you want? Hey, whoa. Let's not get aggressive with this guy, okay? We don't even know what he wants yet. Please, go on, Mr. Akshan, you may call me. I go by many names, but Akshan will do just nicely. I thank you for giving me your undivided attention. I understand that you are on a quest of your own. What might that quest be, if I may be so bold to ask? That's none of your... Oh, well, our quest is actually... That's none of your concern. Now, if you'll excuse us, we'll be on our way. Whatever you are. I smell something fishy off of you. And it ain't no fish I've ever smelled. So that kind of thing. That's like an interaction between the three of them. And then I guess one more voice I have in my repertoire. So we've got the narrator, we've got me, we've got the deep, rich tone, or that's the narrator. So we have the narrator voice, the regular voice, the voice that doesn't necessarily trust people, but is always serious. It's always serious. The voice that is sly, that wants something out of someone. That is all. And the voice that is whimsical and not serious at all, here and there, always searching for something that they want, without certainty of what it is they really want, causing mass confusion between themselves and everyone they surround themselves with. So, that is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, narrator, me, sly, narrator, me, deep, sly, whimsical. So that's 5 voices. So I've got 5 different voices right there, which is pretty good. And I've gotten those because I've practiced that, because I've been practicing every single week for the past month, on top of all my other training, right? The acting training and my coaching. I've been practicing consistently, and I've noticed I actually want to listen back. I've listened back a while ago to like my Fallout stuff, and I was like, oh my god, like I would totally do this a different way. Like just a little like a month ago, a little over a month ago, or actually a month and a half ago when I did the Fallout stuff at the beginning. It was okay, but you know, again, it wasn't on the best setup, and it could have used more energy. But it's fun. It's fun to compare and look back, and I'm sure in another month from now, I'll look back on my Star Wars stuff and be like, that was pretty good, but I could have done this better. Could have done this better. Could have done this better, you know? All that kind of stuff. So let's open up here. And we're at 85 videos now, guys. We're getting closer and closer to 100 videos. And I have not forgotten about the 100 subscriber special. My plan with that, just because this week's going to be a pretty busy week, I've got a lot planned for the week. I most likely will have the 100 subscriber special ready sometime next week. That's the goal. Excuse me. Mondays I'm usually busy because I have my acting classes then. But yeah, I should be good. Hopefully next Tuesday I can start working on it. I would work on it this week, but again, like super busy with stuff. Won't be able to. But yeah. But okay, audio sounds good. Was just checking it. All right, I'll have the chat open now so I can see any of you guys' comments if you have any. Make sure it's all messages. There we go. Okay. So, anyways, that was a bit of a long rant, but yeah, it's important. If anybody on here is, you know, also looking to get into voice acting, I'm by no means an expert. Absolutely not. I'm nowhere close to an expert. In fact, I am still, if you've been following along, this is for everybody that's been following along with the book we've been reading. I am in the creative active phase. Well, no, actually, I'm still in. I'm between my apprenticeship phase and the creative active phase because I'm still learning from others how to be better. But it's getting to a point now where I've been practicing so much on my own that I've been experimenting, which is a part of the creative active phase. Ooh, the start to this chapter is going to be good. That's going to be really good. Okay, so let's you know what? Besides the book reading, we haven't really done a lot of narration on stream. I know I've done the reading and stuff, but like audiobooks and narration are slightly different, right? Because what I'm reading to you is nonfiction, but I haven't really done like a fiction narration since the Joshua Graham shorts I did. So let's do something set in let's do something set in my D&D campaign. Huh? That would be fun. I'm not going to give too much in case any of my players decide to join the stream because I wouldn't want them to be spoiled. But I'm only going to give them the bare essentials. Make me a narration script of a party that has just arrived in the high city of Stormridge. No spoilers, please. Actually, that would make sense. City of Stormridge. They have just made it through the Thieves Guild underground headquarters. Found out about a chaos cult that is in the city. Fought that have done the following. They have made it through the Thieves Guild underground headquarters, fought Bone Devils in the Thieves Guild headquarters, got their notoriety removed by Asher, the leader of the Thieves Guild. Found out about a chaos cult that was in Midtown just before they went into the high city, and now find themselves finally in the high city where towers and wealth are abundant. Okay, this will be interesting. So, our prompt is make me a narration script. Make it like a recap, but in an engaging way that I can practice my voice acting of a D&D party that have done the following. Okay. Make it like a recap. Make me a narration script. Make it like a recap, but in an engaging way that I can practice my voice acting. Of a D&D party that has done the following. This takes place in a city called Stormridge. They have made it through the Thieves Guild underground headquarters, fought Bone Devils in the Thieves Guild headquarters, got their notoriety removed by Asher, the leader. Okay, so first I have to... Met Asher, the leader of the Thieves Guild. Fought Bone Devils in the Thieves Guild headquarters. We're visited by Orcus and Cicero. Not at the same time. Each of them progress. So yeah. Met Asher, the leader of the Thieves Guild. Were visited by Orcus and Cicero. Not at the same time, each of them voicing their own thoughts where the party is now in their progress. Fought Bone Devils in the progress. Fought Bone Devils in the Thieves Guild headquarters, got their notoriety removed by Asher, the leader of the Thieves Guild, convinced Asher to escort them to the High City, found out about a chaos cult that was in Midtown just before they went into the High City, and now find themselves finally in the High City where towers and wealth are abundant. All right, let's see what it does with that. Interesting. Okay. Okay, let's give this a... You know what? Let's put some... Let's make this fun. Let's put some music on. Some D&D ambience music. So we're looking for D&D ambience music. Let's see here. In the bustling city of Stormridge, our intrepid band of adventurers embarked on a journey that would test their mettle and cunning. The air was thick with the scent of intrigue as they delved into the shadowy underbelly of the metropolis. Their first challenge awaited them beneath the cobblestone streets, the notorious Thieves Guild. A labyrinth of secret passages and concealed chambers awaited them, but our heroes navigated the treacherous underground with determination. Deep within the heart of the Thieves Guild, they encountered the enigmatic Asher, the cunning mastermind behind the criminal organization. The leader's voice echoed through the dimly lit chambers as he weighed the party's intentions. Well, well, what brings you to my domain, adventurers? Speak quickly, for time is a valuable commodity down here. Negotiations ensued, and the party found themselves entangled in the web of Stormridge's criminal underworld. But alliances were formed, and Asher, recognizing their potential, offered an unexpected boon. I'll wipe your notoriety clean. Consider it a gesture of goodwill. Freed from the shackles of infamy, our hero seized the opportunity to rise above the shadows and ascend to the illustrious High City. Yet, their respite was short-lived. Let's turn that down a little bit. It's a bit loud. The respite was short-lived, as the cosmic forces themselves took an interest in their endeavors. First, the ominous presence of Orcus, the Demon Lord, visited the party with cryptic warnings and veiled guidance. You tread a dangerous path, mortals. The threads of fate weave a tangled tapestry. Choose your steps wisely. Soon after, Cicero, the enigmatic sorcerer, offered his own perspective, his voice echoing with a mix of wisdom and mischief. Ah, the dance of chaos unfolds. Your progress amuses me, yet the stakes grow higher. Do not disappoint. Armed with newfound insights, the party faced Bone Devils in a fierce confrontation within the Thieves' Guild headquarters, their combat prowess shining brightly in the dimly lit chambers. With the echoes of battle still ringing in their ears, our heroes convinced Asher to guide them to the High City, where towers of opulence loomed over the streets. The stark contrast of wealth and poverty served as a constant reminder of the city's dual nature. However, as they strolled through Midtown, an encounter with a charming spell uncovered a deeper conspiracy. A chaos cult hidden in plain sight. The party, now armed with this newfound knowledge, set their sights on the heart of the High City. And so, our adventurers find themselves in the lap of luxury, surrounded by towering spires and opulent estates. The High City holds the promise of answers and challenges, where every corner conceals secrets waiting to be unraveled. What fate awaits our party in the High City of Stormridge? Only time will tell as they continue their quest, navigating the intricate tapestry of politics, magic, and mystery. Not bad. Let's try and record that. Yeah, also, I mean, not that I know I don't have a lot of reach as a channel quite yet, but if you guys have not checked out Bardify, please do, because this channel is just so awesome. Like, the fact that all of these are posted on YouTube to listen to are amazing. It's great. Um, highly recommend you check out the channel Bardify if you're running a D&D campaign. Um, I use this channel a lot for different music, so I would highly recommend it. It's not bad. No, I think I like the long rest music better. All right, so let's try that again, but you guys will hear the music, I will not. So we're gonna record this, see how it sounds. We'll do our full editing and everything to get the practice in. Oh. Oh. Okay. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that's way too loud. We need to turn that down a little bit. That is way too loud. We'll change it to like testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Even that's pretty loud. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing. All right, we'll try it at that. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing. All right, let's give this a try. I'm actually curious how it'll sound if I do this. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. In the bustling city of Stormridge, our intrepid band of adventurers embarked on a journey that would test their mettle and cunning. The air was thick with the scent of intrigue as they delved into the shadowy underbelly of the metropolis. Their first challenge awaited them beneath the cobblestone streets, the notorious Thieves Guild. A labyrinth of secret passages and concealed chambers awaited them. But our heroes navigated the treacherous underground with determination. Deep within the heart of the Thieves Guild, they encountered the enigmatic Asher, the cunning mastermind behind the criminal organization. The leader's voice echoed through the dimly lit chambers as he weighed the party's intentions. Well, well, what brings you to my domain, adventurers? Speak quickly, for time is a valuable commodity down here. Negotiations ensued, and the party found themselves entangled in the web of Stormridge's criminal underworld. But alliances were formed, and Asher, recognizing their potential, offered an unexpected boon. I'll wipe your notoriety clean. Consider it a gesture of goodwill. Freed from the shackles of infamy, our heroes seized the opportunity to rise above the shadows and ascend to the illustrious High City. Yet, their respite was short-lived, as the cosmic forces themselves took an interest in their endeavors. First, the ominous presence of Orcus, the Demon Lord, visited the party with cryptic warnings and veiled guidance. You tread on a dangerous path, mortals. The threads of fate weave a tangled tapestry. Choose your steps wisely. Soon after, Cicero, the enigmatic sorcerer, offered his own perspective, his voice echoing with a mix of wisdom and mischief. Ah, the dance of chaos unfolds. Your progress amuses me, yet the stakes grow higher. Do not disappoint. Armed with newfound insights, the party faced Bone Devils in a fierce confrontation within the Thieves Guild headquarters, their combat prowess shining brightly in the dimly lit chambers. With the echoes of battle still ringing in their ears, our heroes convinced Asher to guide them to the High City, where towers of opulence loomed over the streets. The stark contrast of wealth and poverty served as a constant reminder of the city's dual nature. However, as they strolled through Midtown, an encounter with a charming spell uncovered a deeper conspiracy, a chaos cult hidden in plain sight. The party, now armed with this newfound knowledge, set their sights on the heart of the High City. And so, our adventurers find themselves in the lap of luxury, surrounded by towering spires and opulent estates. The High City holds the promise of answers and challenges, where every corner conceals secrets waiting to be unraveled. What fate awaits our party in the High City of Stormridge? Only time will tell as they continue their quest, navigating the intricate tapestry of politics, magic, and mystery. Oh, you guys won't even be able to hear the music if I turn it down that low. That's interesting. Alright, I'll keep it to that. In the bustling city of Stormridge, our intrepid band of adventurers embarked on a journey that would test their mettle and cunning. Let's just turn that down. Actually, I don't have to do it that way. I guess, yeah, I can. In the bustling city of Stormridge, our intrepid band of adventurers embarked on a journey that would test their mettle and cunning. The air was thick with the scent of intrigue as they delved into the shadowy underbelly of the metropolis. Our Our intrepid band of adventurers embarked on a journey that would test their mettle and cunning. In the bustling city of Stormridge, our intrepid band of adventurers embarked on a journey that would test their mettle and cunning. The air was thick with the scent of intrigue. As they delved into the shadowy underbelly of the metropolis. Their first challenge awaited them beneath the cobblestone streets. The notorious Thieves Guild. A labyrinth of secret passages and concealed chambers awaited them. But our heroes navigated the treacherous underground with determination. Treacherous underground. Thieves Guild. A labyrinth of secret underground with determination. Navigated the treacherous underground with determination. But our heroes navigated the treacherous underground with determination. Deep within the heart of the Thieves Guild, They encountered the enigmatic Asher, the cunning mastermind behind the criminal organization. The leader's voice echoed through the dimly lit chambers as he weighed the party's intentions. Well, well. Well, well. What brings you to my domain, adventurers? Speak quickly, for time is a valuable commodity down here. Negotiations ensued, and ensued, and ensued, and the party found themselves entangled in the web of Storm Ridge's criminal underworld. But alliances were formed. And Asher were formed, and Asher, recognizing their potential, offered an unexpected boon. I'll wipe your notoriety clean. Consider it a gesture of goodwill. Freed from the shackles of infamy, our heroes seized the opportunity to rise above the shadows and ascend to the illustrious High City. Yet, their respite was short-lived. As the cosmic forces themselves took an interest in their endeavors. First, the ominous presence of Orcus, the Demon Lord, visited the party with cryptic warnings and veiled guidance. You tread on a dangerous path, mortals. The threads of fate weave a tangled tapestry. Choose your steps wisely. Soon after, Cicero, the enigmatic sorcerer, offered his own perspective, his voice echoing with a mix of wisdom and mischief. Ha! The dance of chaos unfolds. Your progress amuses me, yet the stakes grow higher. Do not disappoint. point. Armed with newfound insights, the party faced Bone Devils in a fierce confrontation within the Thieves Guild headquarters. Oh my god. Okay. Quarters. Their combat prowess shining brightly in the dimly lit chambers. With the echoes of battle still ringing in their ears, our heroes convinced Asher to guide them to the High City, where towers of opulence loomed over the streets. The stark contrast of wealth and poverty served as a constant reminder of the city's dual nature. However, as they strolled through Midtown, an encounter with a charming spell uncovered a deeper conspiracy. A chaos cult. Hidden in plain sight. The party, now armed with this newfound knowledge, set their sights on the heart of the High City. And so, our adventurers find themselves in the lap of luxury, surrounded by towering spires and opulent estates. The High City holds the promise of answers. The High City holds the promise of answers and challenges, where every corner conceals secrets waiting to be unraveled. What fate awaits our party in the High City of Stormridge? Only time will tell as they continue their quest, navigating the intricate tapestry of politics, magic, and mystery. All right, let's apply a hard limiter to that. Well, let's listen to it from the top with some maybe this one, actually. Yeah, I like how this one sounds. In the bustling city of Stormridge, our intrepid band of adventurers embarked on a journey that would test their mettle and cunning. The air was thick with the scent of intrigue as they delved into the shadowy underbelly of the metropolis. Their first challenge awaited them beneath the cobblestone streets, the notorious Thieves Guild. A labyrinth of secret passages and concealed chambers awaited them. But our heroes navigated the treacherous underground with determination. Deep within the heart of the Thieves Guild, they encountered the enigmatic Asher, the cunning mastermind behind the criminal organization. The leader's voice echoed through the dimly lit chambers as he weighed the party's intentions. Well, well. What brings you to my domain, adventurers? Speak quickly, for time is a valuable commodity down here. Negotiations ensued, and the party found themselves entangled in the web of Stormridge's criminal underworld. But alliances were formed, and Asher, recognizing their potential, offered an unexpected boon. I'll wipe your notoriety clean. Consider it a gesture of goodwill. Freed from the shackles of infamy, our heroes seized the opportunity to rise above the shadows and ascend to the illustrious High City. Yet, their respite was short-lived, as the cosmic forces themselves took an interest in their endeavors. First, the ominous presence of Orcus, the Demon Lord, visited the party with cryptic warnings and veiled guidance. You tread on a dangerous path, mortals. The threads of fate weave a tangled tapestry. Choose your steps wisely. Soon after, Cicero, the enigmatic sorcerer, offered his own perspective, his voice echoing with a mix of wisdom and mischief. The dance of chaos unfolds. Your progress amuses me, yet the stakes grow higher. Do not disappoint. Armed with newfound insights, the party faced Bone Devils in a fierce confrontation within the Thieves Guild headquarters, their combat prowess shining brightly in the dimly lit chambers. With the echoes of battle still ringing in their ears, our heroes convinced Asher to guide them to the High City, where towers of opulence loomed over the streets. The stark contrast of wealth and poverty served as a constant reminder of the city's dual nature. However, as they strolled through Midtown, an encounter with a charming spell uncovered a deeper conspiracy, a chaos cult hidden in plain sight. The party, now armed with this newfound knowledge, set their sights on the heart of the High City. And so, our adventurers find themselves in the lap of luxury, surrounded by towering spires and opulent estates. The High City holds the promise of answers and challenges, where every corner conceals secrets waiting to be unraveled. What fate awaits our party in the High City of Stormridge? Only time will tell as they continue their quest, navigating the intricate tapestry of politics, magic, and mystery. Ooh, the timing with the music too. That was perfect timing. I love that. Okay, I've got one other thing that I'd like to try. I think I want to try doing it again, this whole thing, but I want to do like slightly different voices. Um, oh, actually, I might get copyright. I might get the stream might get temporarily suspended. Well, we'll see. Okay, let's see if the stream gets suspended. I'm actually curious. Maybe not. Maybe YouTube's actually chill with this one. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But I think that's a good time to take a break. Yeah, we're at an hour 15. Damn. That's good though. So we'll take a break, and then when we come back, I will do another take of this. I do really like this take. There's some things I did notice though that I can improve on for sure. Um, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So we'll take a 10-minute break or so, and then I'll come back. We'll do another take of this, and then after that, we'll take another break, and then finally, for the last hour, we'll continue reading our book Mastery. So yeah, I'll see you guys in 10. Okay, and we are back. So, I don't think the stream got taken down from that music I was playing earlier, so I think I will use that music. All right. So let's see. So yeah, we're gonna try recording again. All right. All right. Let's give this a try. In the heart of Stormridge, our band of adventurers plunged headfirst into the twisted labyrinth of the Thieves' Guild. Shadows danced on the walls as the air thickened with the scent of danger, and the echoes of secrets reverberated through the underground passages. Asher, the cunning mastermind of the Thieves' Guild, cast his gaze upon the party with suspicion and curiosity. Negotiations danced on the edge of a dagger's edge, and alliances were forged in the crucible of darkness. Your fate teeters on the brink, adventurers. Prove your worth, and the shadows may embrace you. Notoriety wiped clean, our heroes ascended to the high city, guided by Asher himself. The towers rose like titans, and the streets whispered tales of power and deceit. Yet, the cosmic forces did not rest. Orcus, the ominous demon lord, whispered cryptic warnings, while Cicero, the clown prince of chaos, bestowed upon the party wisdom veiled in madness. The path you tread is fraught with peril. Threads of destiny entwine, and your choices echo across realms. Ah, my dear playthings, chaos weaves its tapestry, and you dance upon its threads. But fear not, for within madness lies a peculiar kind of clarity. In a moment of eerie calm, Cicero, the mad jester, imparted his own philosophical riddle to the party. In the carnival of existence, chaos reigns as the ringleader, a mad dance, a twisted jest. Remember, mortals, in the chaos, find your peculiar order. In the carnival of existence, chaos reigns as the ringleader, a mad dance, a twisted jest. Remember, mortals, in the chaos, find your own peculiar order. Their journey through the Thieves' Guild headquarters reached a crescendo as Bone Devils emerged, and blades clashed in a symphony of chaos and determination. Asher, recognizing their strength, reluctantly agreed to guide them through the labyrinth streets of Midtown. There, a charm spell unveiled a hidden truth, a chaos cult lurking beneath the veneer of society. Now, in the opulent embrace of the high city, our adventurers stand at the precipice of revelation and danger. Towers of wealth cast shadows on the streets below, concealing the city's deepest secrets. As the party treads the path of uncertainty, the Clown Prince's laughter echoes in their minds, a reminder that in madness, there may lie the keys to understanding. What unfolds next in the High City's embrace The tapestry of chaos unfurls, and our heroes stand ready to navigate the twists and turns that destiny has woven for them. In the heart of Stormridge, in the heart of Stormridge, our band of adventurers plunged headfirst into the twisted labyrinth of the Thieves' Guild. Shadows danced on the walls as the air thickened with the scent of danger. And the echoes of secrets reverberated through the underground passages. Asher, the cunning mastermind of the Thieves' Guild, cast his gaze upon the party with suspicion and curiosity. It needs to be louder. We're going to do it again. It's got to be louder. It's too quiet. Let's go again. In the heart of Stormridge, our band of adventurers plunged headfirst into the twisted labyrinth of the Thieves' Guild. Shadows danced on the walls as the air thickened with the scent of danger, and the echoes of secrets reverberated through the underground passages. Asher, the cunning mastermind of the Thieves' Guild, cast his gaze upon the party with suspicion and curiosity. Negotiations danced on the edge of a dagger's edge, and alliances were forged in the crucible of darkness. Your fate teeters on the brink, adventurers. Prove your worth, and the shadows may embrace you. Notoriety wiped clean, our heroes ascended to the high city, guided by Asher himself. The towers rose like titans, and the streets whispered tales of power and deceit. Yet, the cosmic forces did not rest. Orcus, the ominous demon lord, whispered cryptic warnings, while Cicero, the clown prince of chaos, bestowed upon the party wisdom veiled in madness. The path you tread is fraught with peril. Threads of destiny entwine, and your choices echo across realms. Ah, my dear playthings. Chaos weaves its tapestry, and you dance upon its threads. But fear not, for within madness lies a peculiar kind of clarity. In a moment of eerie calm, Cicero, the mad jester, In a moment of eerie calm, Cicero, the mad jester, imparted his own philosophical riddle to the party. In the carnival of existence, chaos reigns as the ringleader. A mad dance, a twisted jest. Remember, mortals, in the chaos, find your own peculiar order. Their journey through the Thieves' Guild headquarters reached a crescendo as Bone Devils emerged, and blades clashed in a symphony of chaos and determination. Asher, recognizing their strength, reluctantly agreed to guide them through the labyrinth streets of Midtown. There, a charm spell unveiled a hidden truth, a chaos cult lurking beneath the veneer of society. Now, in the opulent embrace of the high city, our adventurers stand at the precipice of revelation and danger. Towers of wealth cast shadows on the streets below, concealing the city's deepest secrets. As the party treads the path of uncertainty, the Clown Prince's laughter echoes in their minds, a reminder that in madness, there may lie the keys to understanding. What unfolds next in the high city's embrace? The tapestry of chaos unfurls, and our heroes stand ready to navigate the twists and turns that destiny has woven for them. In the heart That's better. In the heart of Stormridge, our band of adventurers plunged headfirst into the twisted labyrinth of the Thieves' Guild. Shadows danced on the walls as the air thickened with the scent of danger, and the echoes of secrets reverberated through the underground passages. Asher, the cunning mastermind of the Thieves' Guild, cast his gaze upon the party with suspicion and curiosity. Negotiations danced on the edge of a dagger's edge, and alliances were forged in the crucible of darkness. Your fate teeters on the brink, adventurers. Prove your worth, and the shadows may embrace you. Notoriety wiped clean. Our heroes ascended to the high city, guided by Asher himself. The towers rose like titans, and the streets whispered tales of power and deceit. Yet, the cosmic forces did not rest. Orcus, the ominous demon lord, whispered cryptic warnings, while Cicero, the clown prince of chaos, bestowed upon the party wisdom veiled in madness. Wisdom veiled in wisdom veiled in madness. Veiled in madness. The path you tread is fraught with peril. Threads of destiny entwine, and your choices echo across realms. Realms. Across realms. Ah, my dear playthings. Chaos. Chaos weaves its tapestry, and you dance upon its threads. But fear not. For within madness lies a peculiar kind of clarity. In a moment of eerie calm, Cicero, the mad jester, in a moment of eerie calm, Cicero, the mad jester, moment of eerie calm, Cicero, the mad jester, imparted his own philosophical riddle to the party. In the carnival of existence, chaos reigns as the ringleader. A mad dance leader. A mad dance. A twisted jest. 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 Remember, mortals, in the chaos, find your own peculiar order. Their journey through the Thieves' Guild headquarters reached a crescendo as Bone Devils emerged, and blades clashed in a symphony of chaos and determination. Asher, recognizing their strength, reluctantly agreed to guide them through the labyrinth streets of Midtown. There, a charm spell unveiled a hidden truth. A chaos cult lurking beneath the veneer of society. Now, in the opulent embrace of the now, in the opulent embrace of the high city, our adventurers stand at the precipice of revelation and danger. Precipice of revelation and danger. Precipice of revelation and danger. Towers of wealth cast and danger. Towers of wealth cast shadows on the streets below. Concealing the city's deepest secrets. As the party treads the path of uncertainty, the Clown Prince's laughter echoes in their minds. A reminder that in madness, there may lie the keys to understanding. What unfolds next in the high city's embrace? High city's embrace. High city's embrace. Embrace. The tapestry of chaos unfurls. And our chaos unfurls, and our heroes unfurls, and our heroes stand ready to navigate the twists and turns that destiny has woven for them. All right. Now let's listen to it with this music. In the heart of Stormridge, our band of adventurers plunged headfirst into the twisted labyrinth of the Thieves' Guild. In the heart of Stormridge, our band of adventurers plunged headfirst into the twisted lab. I don't know why YouTube is like, this player is just so messed up on here. In the heart of Stormridge, our band of adventurers plunged headfirst into the twisted labyrinth of the Thieves' Guild. Shadows danced on the walls as the air thickened with the scent of danger, and the echoes of secrets reverberated through the underground passages. Asher, the cunning mastermind of the Thieves' Guild, cast his gaze upon the party with suspicion and curiosity. Negotiations danced on the edge of a dagger's edge, and alliances were forged in the crucible of darkness. Your fate teeters on the brink, adventurers. Prove your worth, and the shadows may embrace you. Notoriety wiped clean. Our heroes ascended to the high city, guided by Asher himself. The towers rose like titans, and the streets whispered tales of power and deceit. Yet, the cosmic forces did not rest. Orcus, the ominous demon lord, whispered cryptic warnings, while Cicero, the clown prince of chaos, bestowed upon the party wisdom veiled in madness. The path you tread is fraught with peril. Threads of destiny entwine, and your choices echo across realms. Ah, my dear playthings. Chaos weaves its tapestry, and you dance upon its threads. But fear not, for within madness lies a peculiar kind of clarity. In a moment of eerie calm, Cicero, the mad jester, imparted his own philosophical riddle to the party. In the carnival of existence, chaos reigns as the ringleader. A mad dance, a twisted jest. Remember, mortals, in the chaos, find your own peculiar order. Their journey through the Thieves' Guild headquarters reached a crescendo as Bone Devils emerged, and blades clashed in a symphony of chaos and determination. Asher, recognizing their strength, reluctantly agreed to guide them through the labyrinth streets of Midtown. There, a charm spell unveiled a hidden truth, a chaos cult lurking beneath the veneer of society. Now, in the opulent embrace of the High City, our adventurers stand at the precipice of revelation and danger. Towers of wealth cast shadows on the streets below, concealing the city's deepest secrets. As the party treads the path of uncertainty, the Clown Prince's laughter echoes in their minds, a reminder that in madness, there may lie the keys to understanding. What unfolds next in the High City's embrace? The tapestry of chaos unfurls, and our heroes stand ready to navigate the twists and turns that destiny has woven for them. God, that's so sick. This theme is so good. All right, well, I like that take a lot more. They're both good takes, don't get me wrong, but I definitely feel like now armed with this newfound, this one is better overall. We'll save it though. This is still good to save. Lurking beneath the veneer of society. Called lurk society. Now, in the opulent Alright, well, I'm pretty happy with that. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Let's see actually how they sound exported. In the heart of Stormridge, our band of adventurers plunged headfirst into the twisted labyrinth of the Thieves' Guild. Shadows danced on the walls as the air thickened with the scent of danger, and the echoes of secrets reverberated through the underground passages. Asher, the cunning mastermind of the Thieves' Guild, cast his gaze upon the party with suspicion and curiosity. Negotiations danced on the edge of a dagger's edge, and alliances were forged in the crucible of darkness. Your fate teeters on the brink, adventurers. Prove your worth, and the shadows may embrace you. Notoriety wiped clean, our heroes ascended to the high city, guided by Asher himself. The towers rose like titans, and the streets whispered tales of power and deceit. Yet, the cosmic forces did not rest. All right. Let's finish off the stream with some reading now. So we will continue our book, Mastery by Robert Greene, and we are beginning a new chapter. So let's get some nice we'll switch it up. I know I always usually do a fireplace, but you know what? Let's switch it up for today. We switched it up with ChatGPT, so we're gonna switch it up today with a lo-fi mix. So sit back, relax as we continue Mastery by Robert Greene. And in the last time, we finished the 4th chapter, which talked about social intelligence. To summarize the whole chapter, I would say what he focuses on is being able to make yourself open to discovering what people really are. Not just limiting yourself to assumptions. Truly being open and hearing people's thoughts and behaviors. And he provided lots of very good examples, people in history. And it was a very good chapter overall. But now we move on to a new chapter. This is chapter 5. Awaken the dimensional mind, the creative active. As you accumulate more skills and internalize the rules that govern your field, your mind will want to become more active, seeking to use this knowledge in ways that are more suited to your inclinations. What will impede this natural creative dynamic from flourishing is not a lack of talent, but your attitude. Feeling anxious and insecure, you will tend to turn conservative with your knowledge, preferring to fit into the group and sticking to the procedures you have learned. Instead, you must force yourself in the opposite direction. As you emerge from your apprenticeship, you must become increasingly bold. Instead of feeling complacent about what you know, you must expand your knowledge to related fields, giving your mind fuel to make new associations between different ideas. You must experiment and look at problems from all possible angles. As your thinking grows more fluid, your mind will become increasingly dimensional, seeing more and more aspects of reality. In the end, you will turn against the very rules you have internalized, shaping and reforming them to suit your spirit. Such originality will bring you to the heights of power. The second transformation. From the moment he was born, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, 1756 to 1791, was surrounded by music. His father, Leopold, was a violinist and composer in the court of Salzburg, Austria, as well as a music instructor. All during the day, Wolfgang would hear Leopold and his students practicing in the house. In 1759, his 7-year-old sister, Maria Anna, began taking piano lessons from their father. She showed great promise and practiced at all hours. Wolfgang, enchanted by the simple melodies that she played, began to hum along to the music. He would sometimes sit at the family's harpsichord and try to imitate what his sister had played. Leopold could soon detect something unusual in his son. For a 3-year-old, the child had a remarkable memory for melody and an impeccable sense of rhythm, all without having any instruction. Although he had never attempted to teach someone so young, Leopold decided to begin teaching piano to Wolfgang when he turned 4, and after only a few sessions, he realized the boy had other interesting qualities. Wolfgang listened more deeply than other students, his mind and body completely absorbed in the music. With such intensity of focus, he learned more quickly than other children. Once he was 5 years old, he stole a rather complicated exercise meant for Maria Anna, and within 30 minutes, he could play it with ease. He had heard Maria Anna practice the piece, and remembering it vividly, the moment he saw the notes on the page, he could rapidly reproduce the music. This remarkable focus had its roots in something that Leopold saw almost from the beginning. The boy had an intense love of music itself. His eyes would light up with excitement the moment Leopold laid out a new, challenging piece for him to conquer. If the piece was new and hard to figure out, he would attack it day and night with such tenacity that would soon become part of his repertoire. At night, his parents would have to force him to stop practicing and send him to bed. This love of practice only seemed to increase with the years. When it came time to play with other children, he would find a way to transform a simple game into something that involved music. His favorite game, however, was to take some piece he had been playing and improvise on it, giving it a personal flair that was quite charming and inventive. From his earliest years, Wolfgang was exceptionally emotional and sensitive. His moods would swing wildly. He would be petulant one moment, highly affectionate the next. He had a perpetually anxious look on his face that would only disappear when he sat down at the piano. Then he was in his element, losing himself in the music. One day, in 1762, as Leopold Mozart heard his two children playing a piece for two pianos, an idea came to him. His daughter, Maria Anna, was a very talented piano player in her own right, and Wolfgang was a veritable marvel. Together, they were like precious toys. They had a natural charisma, and Wolfgang had a showman's flair. As a mere court musician, Leopold's income was rather limited, but he could see the potential for making a fortune through his children. And so, thinking this through, he decided to take his family on a grand tour of the capitals of Europe, playing before royal courts and the public, and charging money for the entertainment. To add to the spectacle, he dressed the children up, Maria Anna as a princess, and Wolfgang as a court minister, complete with wig, elaborate waistcoat, and a sword dangling from his belt. They began in Vienna, where the children charmed the Austrian emperor and empress. They then spent months in Paris, where they played for the royal court, and Wolfgang bounced on the knee of the delighted King Louis XV. They continued to London, where they ended up staying for over a year, playing before all kinds of large crowds. And while the sight of the two children in their costumes charmed audiences enough, Wolfgang's playing astounded them. He had developed numerous parlor tricks, stage managed by his father. He would play a minuet on a keyboard. He would play a minuet on a keyboard that was hidden from his view by a cloth, using only one finger. He would deftly sight read the latest composition by a famous composer. He would play his own compositions. It was impressive to hear a sonata composed by a 7-year-old, no matter how simple it was. Most marvelous of all, Wolfgang could play at an incredible speed, his tiny fingers flying over the keyboard. As the tour continued, an amusing pattern began to develop. The family would be invited to do some sightseeing, tour the countryside, or attend a soiree, while Wolfgang would find some excuse to stay behind, a feigned illness or complaints of exhaustion, and would devote his time instead to music. His favorite ploy in this vein was to attach himself to the most illustrious composers in the particular court they were visiting. In London, for instance, he managed to charm the great composer Johann Christian Bach, son of Johann Sebastian Bach. When the family was invited out on a jaunt, he declined to join them with the perfect excuse. He had already engaged Bach to give him lessons in composition. The education he received in this fashion, from all of the composers he met, went far beyond anything any child could hope to receive. Although some argue that it was a waste of childhood for someone so young to be so single-minded, Wolfgang felt such an ardent love for music and the constant challenges that presented that in the end, he derived much greater pleasure from his obsession than any amusement or game could provide. The tour was a great financial success, but it nearly ended in tragedy. In Holland in 1766, as the family was beginning its return journey, Wolfgang fell ill with a powerful fever. Losing weight rapidly, he drifted in and out of consciousness, and at one point appeared near death. But miraculously, the fever passed, and over the course of several months, he slowly recovered. The experience, however, altered him. From that moment on, he had a constant feeling of melancholy and a foreboding that he would die young. The Mozart family had come now to depend on the money that the children had generated through the tour. But as the years went by, the invitations began to dry up. The novelty had worn off, and the children no longer seemed so young and precious. Desperate to generate money, Leopold came up with a different scheme. Excuse me. His son was turning into a serious composer, with the ability to compose in different genres. What was needed was to secure him a stable position as a court composer, and attract commissions for concertos and symphonies. With this goal in mind, in 1770, father and son embarked on a series of tours in Italy, then the center of all things musical in Europe. The trip went well. Wolfgang performed his magic on the piano before all of the major courts in Italy. He gained acclaim for his symphonies and concert pieces. They were quite impressive for a teenager. He mingled yet again with the most celebrated composers of his time, intensifying the musical knowledge he had gained on his previous tours. In addition, he rediscovered his greatest passion in music, the opera. As a child, he had always had the feeling that he was destined to compose great operas. In Italy, he saw the finest productions and realized the source of his fascination. It was the drama translated into pure music, the nearly limitless potential of the human voice to express the full range of emotion and the overall spectacle. He had an almost primal attraction to any kind of theater. But despite all of the attention and inspiration he received, after nearly 3 years of visiting the various courts in Italy, he was not offered a position or a commission that was worthy of his talents. And so, in 1773, father and son returned to Salzburg. After some delicate negotiation with the Archbishop of Salzburg, Leopold finally managed to secure for his son a relatively lucrative position as court musician and composer. And by all appearances, the arrangement was good, not having to worry about money. Wolfgang would have endless time to work on composing, but almost from the beginning, Wolfgang felt uncomfortable and restless. He had spent almost half of his youth traveling throughout Europe, mingling with the leading minds in music, and listening to the most renowned orchestras. And now, he was relegated to life in provincial Salzburg, isolated from the European centers of music, in a city that had no theater or opera tradition. More troubling, however, was the mounting frustration he felt as a composer. For as long as he could remember, his head was continuously filled with music, but it was always the music of other people. He knew that his own pieces were simply clever imitations and adaptations of other composers. He had been like a young plant, passively absorbing nutrients from the environment in the form of the different styles he had learned and mastered. But he could feel stirring from deep within something more active, the desire to express his own music and to stop imitating. The soil was now rich enough. As an adolescent, he was assailed by all kinds of conflicting and powerful emotions: elation, depression, erotic desires. His great desire was to transpose these feelings into his work. Almost without being aware of it, he began to experiment. He wrote a series of slow movements for various string quartets that were long and drawn out, with strange mixes of moods full of anxiety that would rise to great crescendos. When he showed these pieces to his father, Leopold was horrified. Their income depended on Wolfgang supplying the court with the kind of pleasant melodies that would delight people and make them smile. If they or the Archbishop heard these new compositions, they would think Wolfgang had gone insane. Besides, the pieces were too complicated for the court musicians of Salzburg to perform. He begged his son to stop indulging in such strange music, or at least to wait until he had a position somewhere else. Wolfgang acquiesced, but as time went on, he grew increasingly depressed. The music he was being forced to write seemed so hopelessly dead and conventional. It had no relation to what was going on inside him. He composed fewer pieces and performed less often. For the first time in his life, he was losing his love for music itself. Feeling imprisoned, he grew irritable. When he heard an operatic aria sung in public, he was reminded of the kind of music he could be composing, and he would go into a funk. He began to quarrel incessantly with his father, passing from anger to begging for forgiveness for his disobedience. Slowly, he resigned himself to his fate. He would die in Salzburg at an early age, without the world ever hearing the kind of music he knew existed within him. In 1781, Wolfgang was invited to accompany the Archbishop of Salzburg to Vienna, where he was planning to showcase the musical talents of his various court musicians. Suddenly, in Vienna, the nature of his status as a court musician became clear. The Archbishop ordered him about as if he were simply one of his personal staff, a mere servant. Now, all the resentment Wolfgang had felt for the past 7 years bubbled and rose to the surface. He was 25 years old and losing valuable time. His father and the Archbishop were actively holding him back. He loved his father and depended on his family for emotional support, but he could tolerate his circumstances no longer. When it was time to return to Salzburg, he did the unthinkable. He refused to leave. He asked to be dismissed from his position. The Archbishop treated him with the utmost contempt, but finally relented. His father sided with the Archbishop and ordered his son to return, promising that all would be forgiven. But Wolfgang had made up his mind. He would stay in Vienna for what would turn out to be the rest of his life. The rift with his father was permanent and extremely painful. But sensing that his time was short, and that he had almost too much to express, he threw himself into his music with an intensity that was even greater than what he had displayed in childhood, as if all his ideas had been pent up for too long. He exploded in a creative outburst, unprecedented in the history of music. The apprenticeship of the past 20 years had prepared him well for this moment. He had developed a prodigious memory. In his mind, he could hold together all of the harmonies and melodies that he had absorbed over the years. Instead of notes or chords, he could think in terms of blocks of music and write them out as quickly as he had heard them in his head. His speed of composing would now astonish those who witnessed it. For instance, the night before the premiere in Prague of the opera Don Giovanni, Mozart had gone out drinking. When his friends reminded him that he had not yet written the overture, he hurried home, and while his wife kept him awake by singing to him, he wrote one of his most popular and brilliantly conceived overtures in a matter of hours. More important, the years he had spent learning how to compose in every conceivable genre now allowed him to use these genres to express something new, to stretch their boundaries and even permanently transform them through his creative powers. Feeling turmoil within himself, he searched for a way to make music something powerful and expressive, and not merely decorative. In his time, the piano concerto and symphony had become rather light and frivolous genres, with short, simple movements, small orchestras, and an overabundance of melody. Mozart completely reworked these forms from within. He wrote for larger orchestras, expanding in particular the violin sections. Such orchestras could produce a more powerful sound than had previously been known. He expanded the length of his symphonic movements well beyond convention. In his opening movement, he would establish a mood of tension and dissonance that he would proceed to build up in the slow second movement, and which he would resolve in a grand and dramatic resolution at the finale. He gave his compositions the power to express dread, sadness, foreboding, anger, exhilaration, and ecstasy. Audiences were spellbound by this new sweeping sound that suddenly had so many new dimensions. After these innovations, it became almost impossible for composers to return to the light, frothy court music that had previously prevailed. European music had forever been altered. These innovations did not spring from any conscious desire on his part to provoke or rebel. Rather, his transforming spirit emerged as if it were completely natural and beyond his control, like a bee secreting wax. Aided by a superior sense of music, he simply could not help but personalize every genre he worked in. In 1786, he came upon a version of the Don Juan legend that excited him. He immediately identified with the story of the great seducer. He shared Don Juan's obsessive need and love for women, and he had the same disdain for authority figures. But more importantly, Mozart felt that as a composer, he had the supreme ability to seduce audiences, and that music itself represented the ultimate seduction, with its irresistible power to strike at our emotions. Translating this story into an opera, he could convey all of these ideas, and so, the following year, he began early work on his opera, Don Giovanni, Italian for Don Juan. To make this story come alive in the way he had imagined it, he would once again apply his transformative powers, this time to the genre of opera. At the time, operas tended to be rather static and formulaic. They consisted of recitatives, spoken dialogue accompanied by harpsichord that conveyed the story and action, arias, sung portions in which the singer would react to the information in the recitative, and choral pieces, featuring large groups of people singing together. For his opera, Mozart created something that flowed as a continuous whole. He conveyed the character of Don Giovanni not just through the words, but through the music, accompanying the seducer's presence on stage with a constant twitching tremolo and inning in the violins to represent his nervous, sensual energy. He gave the work an accelerated, almost frantic pace that no one had ever witnessed before in the theater, to push the expressive... Oh, excuse me. To push the expressive value of the music further, he invented ensembles, stirring climactic moments in which several characters would sing, sometimes over one another, in an elaborate counterpoint, giving the opera a dreamlike feel and flow. From beginning to end, Don Giovanni resonated with the demonic presence of the great seducer. Although all the other characters condemn him, it is impossible not to admire Don Giovanni, even as he remains unrepentant to the end, laughing all the way to hell and refusing to submit to authority. Don Giovanni was not like any opera anyone had ever seen before, either in the story or in the music, and it was perhaps too far ahead of its time. Many complained that it was all rather ugly and harsh to the ears. They found the pace too frenetic, and the moral ambiguity too disturbing. Continuing to work at a deliriously creative pace, Mozart exhausted himself and died in 1791, 2 months after the premiere of his last opera, The Magic Flute, at the age of 35. Several years after his death, audiences caught up with the radical sound he had created in works such as Don Giovanni, which soon became among the 5 most frequently performed operas in history. Keys to Mastery. Quote, "Several things dovetailed in my mind, and at once it struck me. What quality went to form a man of achievement, especially in literature, and which Shakespeare possessed so enormously. I mean, negative capability. That is when man is capable of being in uncertainties, mysteries, doubts, without any irritable reaching after fact and reason." End quote. John Keats. If we think deeply about our childhood, not just about our memories of it, but how it actually felt, we realize how differently we experienced the world back then. Our minds were completely open, and we entertained all kinds of surprising, original ideas. Things that we now take for granted, things as simple as the night sky or our reflection in a mirror, often caused us to wonder. Our heads teemed with questions about the world around us. Not yet having commanded language, we thought in ways that were pre-verbal, in images and sensations. When we attended the circus, a sporting event, or a movie, our eyes and ears took in the spectacle with utmost intensity. Colors seemed more vibrant and alive. We had a powerful desire to turn everything around us into a game, to play with the circumstances. Let us call this quality the original mind. The mind looked at the world more directly. This mind looked at the world more directly, not through words and received ideas. It was flexible and receptive to new information. Retaining a memory of this original mind, we cannot help but feel nostalgia for the intensity with which we used to experience the world. As the years pass, this intensity inevitably diminishes. We come to see the world through a screen of words and opinions. Our previous experiences, layered over the present, color what we see. We no longer look at things as they are, noticing their details, or wonder why they exist. Our minds gradually tighten up. We become defensive about the world we now take for granted, and we become upset if our beliefs or assumptions are attacked. We can call this way of thinking the conventional mind, under pressure to make a living and conform to society. We force our minds into tighter and tighter grooves. We may seek to retain the spirit of childhood here and there, playing games or participating in forms of entertainment that release us from the conventional mind. Sometimes, when we visit a different country where we cannot rely upon everything being familiar, we become childlike again, struck by the oddness and newness of what we are seeing. But because our minds are not completely engaged in these activities, because they last only a short while, they are not rewarding in a deep sense. They are not creative. Masters and those who display a high level of creative energy are simply people who manage to retain a sizable portion of their childhood spirit, despite the pressures and demands of adulthood. This spirit manifests itself in their work and in their ways of thinking. Children are naturally creative. They actively transform everything around them, play with ideas and circumstances, and surprise us with the novel things they say or do. But the natural creativity of children is limited. It never leads to discoveries, inventions, or substantial works of art. Masters not only retain the spirit of the original mind, but they add to it their years of apprenticeship and an ability to focus deeply on problems or ideas. This leads to high-level creativity. Although they have profound knowledge of a subject, their minds remain open to alternative ways of seeing and approaching problems. They are able to ask the kinds of simple questions that most people pass over, but they have the rigor and discipline to follow their investigations all the way to the end. They retain a childlike excitement about their field and a playful approach, all of which makes the hours of hard work alive and pleasurable. Like children, they are capable of thinking beyond words, visually, spatially, intuitively, and have greater access to pre-verbal and unconscious forms of mental activity, all of which can account for their surprising ideas and creations. Some people maintain their childlike spirit and spontaneity, but their creative energy is dissipated in 1,000 directions, and they never have the patience and discipline to endure an extended apprenticeship. Others have the discipline to accumulate vast amounts of knowledge and become experts in their field, but they have no flexibility of spirit, so their ideas never stray beyond the conventional, and they never become truly creative. Masters manage to blend the two, discipline and a childlike spirit, together into what we shall call the dimensional mind. Such a mind is not constricted by limited experience or habits. It can branch out into all directions and make deep contact with reality. It can explore more dimensions of the world. The conventional mind is passive. It consumes information and regurgitates it in familiar forms. The dimensional mind is active, transforming everything it digests into something new and original, creating instead of consuming. It is hard to say exactly why masters are able to retain their childlike spirit while accumulating facts and knowledge, when such a feat has been difficult, if not impossible, for so many. Perhaps they found it harder to let go of childhood. Or perhaps at some point, they intuited the powers they could have by keeping their childhood alive and bringing it to bear in their work. In any event, achieving the dimensional mind is never easy. Often, the childlike spirit of masters lies dormant in the apprenticeship phase, as they patiently absorb all of the details of their field. This spirit then comes back to them as they attain the freedom and opportunity to actively use the knowledge they have gained. Often it is a struggle, and masters go through a crisis as they deal with the demands of others to conform and be more conventional. Under such pressure, they may try to repress their creative spirit, but often it comes back later with double intensity. Understand, we all possess an inborn creative force that wants to become active. This is the gift of our original mind, which reveals such potential. The human mind is naturally creative, constantly looking to make associations and connections between things and ideas. It wants to explore, to discover new aspects of the world, and to invent. To express this creative force is our greatest desire, and the stifling of it, the source of our misery. What kills the creative force is not age or a lack of talent, but our own spirit, our own attitude. We become too comfortable with the knowledge we have gained in our apprenticeships. We grow afraid of entertaining new ideas and the effort that this requires. To think more flexibly entails a risk. We could fail and be ridiculed. We prefer to live with familiar ideas and habits of thinking, but we pay a steep price for this. Our minds go dead from the lack of challenge and novelty. We reach a limit in our field and lose control over our fate, because we become replaceable. What this means, however, is that we equally possess the potential to spark this innate creative force back to life, no matter how old we are. Experiencing a return of this creative force has an immensely therapeutic effect on our spirits and on our career. By understanding how the dimensional mind operates and what helps it flourish, we can consciously revive our mental elasticity and reverse the deadening process. The powers that the dimensional mind can bring are nearly limitless, and within the reach of almost all of us. Look at the case of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He is generally considered the epitome of the child prodigy and the inexplicable genius, a freak of nature. How else are we to explain his uncanny abilities at such a young age, and the 10-year burst of creative activity at the end of his life that culminated in so many innovations and universally loved works? In truth, his genius and creativity is eminently explicable, which does not at all diminish his achievements. Immersed in and enchanted by music from the very beginning of his life, he brought to his earliest studies a high level of focus and intensity. The mind of a 4-year-old is even more open and impressionable than that of a child a few years older. Much of this powerful attention stemmed from his deep love of music, and so, practicing the piano was not some kind of chore or duty, but an opportunity to expand his knowledge and to explore more musical possibilities. By the age of 6, he had accumulated the hours of practice of someone twice his age. His mind became filled with an extensive vocabulary of forms and styles. We have a little bit more time. Oh, my eyes are getting heavy though. Oh my god. I'm reading myself to sleep here. I don't know if this is making you guys sleepy or you're just vibing out, chilling out, but it's definitely making myself a little drowsy. Alright. I'll finish this and then we'll chat for a bit and then we'll end the stream. Okay. In his adolescence, Mozart experienced a typical creative crisis, one that often destroys or derails those who are less tenacious. For close to 8 years, under pressure from his father, the Archbishop, and the court of Salzburg, and bearing the burden of supporting his family, he had to temper his own powerful creative urges. At this critical point, he could have succumbed to this dampening of his spirit and continued to write relatively tame pieces for the court. He would have then ended up among the lesser-known composers of the 18th century. Instead, he rebelled and reconnected with his childlike spirit, that original desire of his to transform the music into his own voice, to realize his dramatic urges in opera with all of his pent-up energy, his long apprenticeship, the deep level of his knowledge. He naturally exploded through creativity once he had freed himself from his family. The speed with which he could compose such masterpieces is not a reflection of some divine gift, but rather of how powerfully in his mind had come to think in musical terms, which he could translate easily onto paper. He was not a freak, but a signpost of the outer reaches of the creative potential we all naturally possess. The dimensional mind has two essential requirements. 1. A high level of knowledge about a field or subject. And 2. The openness and flexibility to use this knowledge in new and original ways. The knowledge that prepares the ground for creative activity largely comes from a rigorous apprenticeship in which we have mastered all of the basics. Once the mind is freed from having to learn these basics, it can focus on higher, more creative matters. The problem for us all is that the knowledge we gain in the apprenticeship phase, including numerous rules and procedures, can slowly become a prison. It locks us into certain methods and forms of thinking that are one-dimensional. Instead, the mind must be forced from its conservative positions and made active and exploratory. To awaken the dimensional mind and move through the creative process requires 3 essential steps. First, choosing the proper creative task, the kind of activity that will maximize our skills and knowledge. Second, loosening and opening up the mind through certain creative strategies. And third, creating the optimal mental conditions for a breakthrough or insight. Finally, throughout the process, we must also be aware of the emotional pitfalls, complacency, boredom, grandiosity, and the like, that continually threaten to derail or block our progress. If we can move through the steps while avoiding these traps, we cannot fail to unleash powerful creative forces from within. And I think that is a good place for us to stop for today for our reading. So on average, I'm noticing we're going through about 10 pages an hour. So what I might do is, excuse me, I might give it a little extra reading time. Because 10 pages an hour, it's not bad. But I think I want to do more, you know? I think this week it's been more geared towards just mixing things up, changing things. I think that's nice, you know? It's good to mix things up. But yeah, I mean, oh yeah, of course. So what do we think so far? What do I think so far of this? I think Mozart's story is really inspiring, honestly. It's really interesting. And it's also a sad story. Because if you think about it, the guy only lived until he was what did it say, 30? $35. Can you imagine? And he didn't leave his apprenticeship phase or leave his family until he was 25, and he only had 10 years left to live. But he was paranoid himself that he felt he didn't have a lot of time left too, which is crazy. Can you imagine that? 35 years. That's all he had. That's not a lot. But in those 10 short years, in a decade, he created some of the most influential pieces in classical music of all time. Crazy to think about that. It's also crazy how at such a young age he was able to pick the music up. Like he was a savant. But yeah, it's just really interesting stuff. But I think this is a good point to end the stream. Actually, no, we have a few minutes. We got a few minutes. What else to talk about? What else is there? I've been running a Dungeons and Dragons campaign for 6 months now. It's been a half a year. Kind of crazy, honestly. But it's been going well. And players seem to be having fun. I'm having fun DMing. It's been a good time for everybody. Really can't complain about any. Can't complain that much. They still have some things they have to learn, but you know, that's with anything. The one thing I would say with Dungeons and Dragons is it's a lot of fun, but the beginning there is a bit of a learning curve. Because it is a lot to try to remember everything you have to do. Thankfully, 5e is made in such a way, 5th edition, if you don't know what 5e means. But yeah, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is made in such a way that it's a lot easier to get into compared to the previous editions, like D&D 3.3e, 3rd edition, or even the 1st and 2nd editions. Those are way, way back. Like, all the way back in, like, I think late 1970s is when Dungeons and Dragons first started. Let's actually look that up. $1974. Wow. 1974 is when it was first published. And this is what it looked like. Dungeons and Dragons 1E. Yeah. This was it. This was the very first set. This is where it all started. 1974. Read this book next. Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeon Master's Rulebook. This is where it all began. Crazy. 1974, so that would mean it's actually Dungeons and Dragons is now wait, no, that can't be right. That can't, hold on. My math is not great. Hold on a sec. Oh my god. Guys. Dungeons and Dragons is 50 years old. This game has been out for 50 years. For half a century, this game has existed. That is fucking crazy to me. Wow. 50 years. This game turns 50 years old this year. I'm sure they gotta have something planned for that. 50-year anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. That's crazy. Well, hopefully I'll still be alive by the time it turns 100. I probably will be. I hope. But yeah, wow. 50 years. 50 years this game has existed. That's crazy. I'll have to tell my group about that. Maybe I'll make it a game. Maybe I'll make it if they can guess how old it is in years since first edition came out. I'll give them a point of inspiration for the session. Yeah, it'll be a fun game. Alright, well, I think that's a good place to stop. I have to get going, but thank you so much to everybody that tuned into the stream. I think there were a couple new faces around here. So be sure to tune in next time, tomorrow at 9 a.m. I will be live once again, and I'll look forward to seeing you all then. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and all your support. Lots more content on the way as always. And until next time,